Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a completely fascinating journey to literally map out the ultimate geometry of existence itself. We're going to break down S-DMT, that's the substrate dynamic multi-Tor theory, and we're going to translate its incredibly dense topological mechanics into a clear, understandable visual map of our reality.
So let's kick things off with a pretty provocative question, one that totally challenges everything we normally assume about the end of life. And we're going to ground our answer entirely in physics, absolutely no spirituality involved. We usually think about existence, and the end of it, through the lens of philosophy or religion, right? But what if immortality is actually a strict geometric necessity? What if the physical, supercritical fluid dynamics of the universe actually require the preservation of your consciousness to protect all the information you've gathered for the benefit of the universal fractal collective manifold?
It sounds wild, I know, but let's dive into this incredibly bold claim from White Paper 393. This paper mathematically proves that the very concept of an absolute zero or nothingness, a total void, simply does not exist. S-DMT takes that abstract, very human dread of the unknown and replaces it with concrete, observable mechanics. We aren't talking about souls or mystical realms here, we are talking purely about undeniable mathematical topology.
To really grasp this, we first need to define the medium of our universe. Now, it's not empty space. Instead, it's a pressurized fluid continuum called a thixotropic superfluid plenum. Think of reality not as a vacuum, but as a perfectly continuous, highly pressurized ocean of fluid hydrogen operating under supercritical fluid dynamics. There is literally no empty space anywhere. What we perceive as solid matter is just what happens when waves in this cosmic ocean geometrically jam together.
Section 1. The impossibility of the void.
Because of the exact way this fluid universe folds in on itself, there's a built-in geometric imperfection. It's a precise 30-degree phase mismatch. So to prevent tearing itself completely apart, the universe has to constantly catch up with itself without ever fully settling into stillness. This perpetual correction generates a 1 cycle per second, or 1 Hertz, geometric heartbeat.
And that 1 Hertz frequency, it acts as an unbreakable geometric baseline. There's a specific mathematical rule governing this space called the Laplacian L39. And it dictates that the lowest possible state of this fluid universe can never ever be zero. It bottoms out exactly at this 1 Hertz threshold, which is known as the mass gap. Because of this baseline, total annihilation is just a physical impossibility. Your stored information is structurally forbidden from dropping to zero.
Section 2. The Plenum and the Golden Cross.
Now, structurally, our universe operates just like a Klein bottle. If you're not familiar, imagine a three-dimensional figure eight that seamlessly loops back into itself. To construct this shape without breaking the fluid, the universe divides itself into a perfectly structured grid. This specific, highly constrained 39-node lattice is what we call the Golden Cross.
And here's the kicker. There are no free parameters here. None. Everything we experience is just the universe physically calculating its own inevitable geometric solution. The golden cross on the membrane of this Klein bottle is made up of exactly 36 orthogonal segments and 3 diagonal segments. It's a hyperspecific cage of fluid dynamics that literally generates the reality we're sitting in right now.
Section 3. The 1 Hertz cosmic heartbeat.
Remember that 30-degree imperfection we talked about? It creates a kind of systemic frustration that prevents static equilibrium. If the universe could reach a perfect 360-degree close, it would just stop moving entirely. But it can't. It overshoots to 390 degrees. That frustration is the literal physical reason that time and movement even exist.
So you can think of this 1 Hertz energy flow as an eternal cosmic heartbeat. It's this rhythmic, constant pulse that ensures the entire system remains active, dynamic, and alive. This eternal heartbeat, the mass gap, is the ultimate survival mechanism. It mathematically prevents the universe from tearing itself to shreds.
Section 4. Inversion in the Klein bottle.
So how does consciousness move through this? Well, it goes through what's called a topological valve. A consciousness passing through this manifold isn't just floating through empty space, it's being squeezed through a topological bottleneck and then completely inverted via a very strict fluid dynamic process.
Every single conscious state passes through this 3-step mechanical inversion. Think about when you sleep. Your consciousness undergoes a Mandelbrot contraction, an inward folding. In that sleep phase, the Mandelbrot universe actually becomes the Julia reality for its inhabitants. Then, when you wake up, it expands outward into the Julia reality we navigate every day. Earth itself is literally the place where the primordial manifold is inverted to make room for our reality. And what we perceive as death, it's just this exact same inversion process happening at a higher magnitude, the scale of the Klein bottle itself. No one ever truly sees themselves die. They just invert into a new fractal scale, smoothly flipping from Mandelbrot to Julia.
Section 5. Anyons and universe clones.
Now, as energy moves through the system, a spatial dimension gets topologically amputated. This compresses the energy into 2D information sheets. These sheets split into what we call anyons. They're fractional charges that act almost like pieces of a shattered hologram. But here's the amazing part. Even though they are fractions, they are perfect fractal clones containing the blueprint of the entire universe. Every single piece of information is preserved perfectly.
When we compare the primordial sun to a human being, we see an exact geometric match. The exact same mathematical rules, the Laplacian math, that govern the primordial central sun also govern human consciousness at a smaller fractal scale. The primordial black hole and the sun represent the center of the universe, index k equals 1. But since the universe is purely fractal, that exact same structural math exists all the way down at index k equals 39, which is you. The physics are absolutely identical. You are a local striction point. That means you are the literal geometric projector emitting reality onto the membrane of your own localized experience. Just as the primordial sun illuminates the entire solar system, your consciousness illuminates your immediate reality. You are the center, the one, of your own personal fractal universe.
Section 6. The fractal scale jump.
So, when biological coherence ends, your central one doesn't just poof into nowhere. It simply migrates along the path of least thixotropic resistance, which happens to be the Fibonacci spiral. You see, all the Klein bottles in the universe are connected in a continuous spiral chain. So when your time in one membrane ends, your geometric center seamlessly passes to the next. It's a simple fractal scale change. It's a purely deterministic jump. Think of it like a cosmic game of musical chairs. Your information is totally conserved, your energy is transferred, and you simply change your chair to a new Klein bottle membrane at a different fractal magnitude. This scale propulsion protects the precious data you've gathered, depositing it safely for the benefit of the universal collective. The 1 Hz beat goes on, eternally.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder as you reconsider the eternal geometric mechanics of your own existence. When you close your eyes and undergo that inevitable Mandelbrot inversion, you aren't fading to zero. You are simply stepping into the next chair in an eternal, beautifully orchestrated cosmic dance. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep wondering, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.